And we are in downtown Pittsfield having a conversation with Scott Kirchner, who is the owner of Mad Max in downtown Pittsfield and also a store in Williamstown, a Apple specialist as far as that goes, which is really, really cool. So, Scott, welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Thanks for having me, John.
So tell me a little bit about what people should be thinking about in regard to choosing the right computer for them. You know, what are some of the first things they ought to be thinking about?
One of the things we do in our stores is we try to discover the needs of the individual. A lot of times people come into our store and they'll think they need one particular computer because maybe they saw an advertisement or they have a friend that has that computer. And in the end, a lot of folks may not even need a computer. They may need an iPad or some other device to get where they need to go with their technology. So we do the best we can to try, once again, to discover their needs, to ask them probing questions, ask them what they're doing with their computer, what they're going to be using the computer for. And we try to also determine at that time what their future needs are going to be as well, maybe a year down the road, maybe 2 years down the road. We like to think that Apple devices will, last that long. It's not something you're going to be buying, every year.
And interesting as far as the power of a computer. You kind of want flexibility there. So sometimes making sure that you have enough juice, as it were, to be able to then go and do things later on. Or there may be just the sort of pedestrian user who less power may be okay. So those are probably some of the first couple things that people need to think about.
Yes, absolutely. One of the things that we do by determining what you're going to use the technology for is determine, like an artist, what the right paintbrush is, what stroke we need to paint with this particular tool. So if you're, for instance, a professional audio or video engineer or somebody who is in a creative realm, your needs are going to be a lot different than somebody who is maybe typing a blog or might be doing some spreadsheets or some Microsoft Office work, maybe email communication stuff. So obviously the power need is justified by exactly what your vocation is with the computer. And once again, we get folks who come in and they're looking at computers because they've always used a computer, so they're thinking that might be the perfect need for them, when in reality, when we match their needs, it ends up being maybe an iPad that works better. Or we end up using the exact opposite. They come in and they say, oh, I really would like to have an iPad. But after having a conversation with them, we find out that an iPad just isn't going to be enough for what what their needs are and what their vocation is.
Interesting. We're having a conversation with Scott Kirchner. We'll continue that conversation. He's the owner of Mad Max in downtown Pittsfield and also a store in Williamstown, Massachusetts. We'll continue the conversation after this.